I'm Pier from Pier's Great Perhaps. I'm an author, a film producer, and an underwater photographer from Bangkok, Thailand, currently based in Los Angeles. The first time I went to South Africa, I was actually very young. I was about 12 years old, and we went on a family trip, did the classic Cape Town, Kruger, all that. And then I went back a second time a couple years ago for actually what's known as a sardine run, which is this huge underwater diving event.
This year, I have the immense privilege of being back on South Africa's Wild Coast, where I will be leading a scuba diving expedition for the sardine run.
You swim with sharks, whales, dolphins as they're, migrating and following these fish that migrate up the coast. So I went there for a scuba diving trip on the Wild Coast, and it entirely changed my life. Hundreds of thousands of sardines essentially move up the coast from, all on the Wild Coast up towards KwaZulu-Natal, whizzing up and down the coast in this boat for days on end, just searching for diving birds. And once you see it, your dive guide tells you to jump. And you're like, you look over and there's a shark and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna face my fears and jump. So once you get in, you feel like you're floating in an ocean of stars because there's all these fish scales just covering the ocean, and it's dark blue, and there's sharks everywhere, bait balls, feeding frenzies, a whale passes through. It's honestly just the most magnificent thing on earth underwater, and I think it's, something that everyone should be able to experience. Before I went to SA, truly, I was always in search of a place that felt a lot like home. And I think a lot of other third culture kids might feel this way. And in a strange way, I almost feel like anyone and everyone can feel at home in SA. I am very comfortable in saying that South Africa is probably my favorite and the most beautiful landscapes you'll ever see in the world. I mean, just kind of the stark diversity and also the cultures, the people. Before going, there are a lot of people who were like an outright warning or said, "Are you sure you're going alone? Africa is dangerous," to kind of lump it all into the continent into one thing. And after having gone and visited multiple times now, dangers exist everywhere in the world, right? And especially as a young woman, you kind of have to just accept that fact. But you could always be aware of your surroundings, and kind of not let that affect your experience of the place. And I can happily say that I have met some of the kindest, most generous people that I've ever known in my time in South Africa. And also the people and the culture is what really kept me going back.